From the New York Post, extent of FBI's targeting of radical traditionalist Catholics greater than Biden officials claim, GOP senator reveals. Documents released by Senator Chuck Grassley on Tuesday appear to contradict former FBI Director Christopher Wray's claim that the controversial 2023 memo targeting radical traditionalist Catholics was a one-off and the work of a single bureau field office. You mean Christopher Wray lied? Yeah, gibby, abby dabby. Extent of FBI's targeting of radical traditional Catholics greater than Biden officials claimed, GOP senator reveals. The Biden-era FBI chief told House lawmakers in July of 2023 that the memo, which described the purported overlaps between Catholics who oppose abortion rights and would-be Teletubbies, as an opportunity for, quote, threat mitigation, close quote, and source development, close quote, was a single product by a single field office. You know what that's saying? It says Catholics who oppose abortion rights and would be Teletubbies. And this is what they're doing. They're saying, wow, it turns out that all of these radical Catholics kind of have an overlap with, Teletubbies. It's almost like, if you see a Catholic that's opposed to abortion, it's highly likely that he's a Teletubby. And so we need to do some threat mitigation and source development. Do you know what that means? It means going inside the Catholic Church and creating sources. You want to get close to someone. They swore up and down, by the way, that they weren't doing that. That they weren't going into the church to source develop. That's what they were doing. However, the new FBI files obtained by Grassley show the bureaus produced at least 13 additional documents and 5 attachments that used anti-Catholic terminology, as well as a second memo updating the FBI's Richmond field office's case against radical Catholics. Director Wray's testimony was inaccurate not only because it failed to reveal the scope of the memo's production and dissemination, but also because it failed to reveal the existence of a second draft product on the same topic. Intended for external distribution to the whole FBI. So what he's telling, no, it was just one memo, and it's a one-off, and it only came from out of one office, and we've talked to them. Okay, it's either one of two things, okay? Because you really only have two things going on here. Either Christopher Wray didn't know he was completely clueless, which means you're a bad leader, you had no business being in that position, or he didn't know, and he encouraged it. In which case, you're a bad director and you had no business being there. Man, so Grassley wrote in a letter to current FBI Director Kash Patel on Monday demanding more documents. The second FBI memo, released by Grassley, was also drafted by the FBI's Richmond office and repeated the same unfounded link between traditional Catholicism and violent extremism. See, remember during COVID, the only way you're going to shut down the church was you had to say that you can't gather. They're never going to just come outright and try to shut you down, a church. There's always going to be these things that they will attach you to. And no, it's not that we're against the church. We love the church. It's just that, we got to keep everybody safe, so you can't meet anymore. Meanwhile, strip clubs were open and ready for business. Liquor stores open and ready for business, but the church can't operate. The backlash over the whistleblower disclosure of the initial memo led the Richmond office to never release the second version, according to the Iowa Republican. However, the first anti-Catholic Richmond memo was widely distributed in February 2023 to more than 1,000 FBI employees nationwide, according to Grassley's findings. Quote, this raises serious concerns that FBI field offices may have relied on the Richmond memo and placed groups in their areas of responsibility under suspicion based on reporting from the deeply biased sources used in the memo, the senator informed Patel. Additionally, the new documents reveal that Richmond FBI officials worked with the Bureau's field office in Louisville, Portland, and Milwaukee as they drafted the memo. So they were working with other field offices. It wasn't just Richmond. Like Christopher Wray said, once again, either you were completely clueless, which means you have no business being in that position, or you didn't know, which means you had no business being in that position. In other words, he lied. Okay, he lied, and he lied a lot. Grassley and numerous conservatives and Catholics have criticized the FBI for largely relying on the far left Southern Poverty Law Center's hate group classifications when putting together the memo. Wah, wah. Yeah, see, the Southern Poverty Law Center is a grift. It is a group of, they put, if you are opposed to anything that they want, like for instance, abortion, they should be put on the terror watch list. We would categorize them as, well, they're radicals. And they're relying heavily on these. Go look at the money, because with the Southern Poverty Law Center, just go follow the money. Okay, just follow the money, and it'll show you. Okay, they are a leftist, unhinged group of malcontents. Quote, I continue to investigate the Richmond memo and the culture at the FBI that allowed it to be produced and approved. Produced and approved. You see, here's the thing, man. Did Christopher Wray know that there was a memo? The only reason we know about it is because of the whistleblower. And when you're using the Southern Poverty Law Center as your source, your main source, it's kind of like, the Steele dossier. You have a highly biased document, and you're using that as a pretense to start infiltrating the church. That's what they were using it for, to infiltrate the church. They're saying, what did they call it? To mitigate the memo to, they were trying to, hold on a second, threat mitigation. So you're using, just like they did with the Steele dossier. You have a memo, what did they call it? Because they call it a dossier, but it wasn't. It was opposition research. And so you're using this highly biased document, a dossier, to get a FISA warrant. And the FBI was doing the same thing against Catholics. Okay, I'm letting you know I'm not a Catholic, okay? I'm not a Catholic, but they believe that Jesus is the Christ. And so as far as I am concerned, they are brothers and sisters. Now, if you don't like that, that bugs you, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? And they do some I'm not talking about radical things. They adhere to certain things that I just don't find in the Bible. That aside, the left can't stand the Catholic Church because of their stance on abortion. And notice that's the precursor. Catholics who oppose abortion rights and would-be Teletubbies, they kind of overlap. The left hates standards of any kind. They don't want any They want to be able to do whatever they want to do. That's the bottom line. They don't want any religious at all. It's somebody has to investigate Christopher Wray. No. Somebody needs to pull him into the office. Because you either knew it or you didn't. You either approved it or you didn't. And if you didn't, how does this happen right under your nose? Hey, man, I know people, a lot of people are not liking, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino because of the Epstein files not being released or, whatever. I don't care. Okay, they're getting to the bottom of stuff. Okay, so sorry. I feel way better with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino than I did with James Comey and Andy McCabe. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash the like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.